Hello viewers, here is a Honeywell 3-speed oscillations pedestal fan. Could also be it's like a table or desk fan. One of these poles can come out and you can shrink it down to be a table fan with an obnoxiously large base. I'm recording it in the pedestal mode, even though it doesn't fit in the video frame that well, because that's how I remember seeing these fans. Before I get into the backstory, let's take a look at the informations tag. The UL sticker says 9 of 2002, so it was likely sold in the summer of 2003. And the model number itself is, oh brother, even harder to read than usual. It is the Honeywell HS-122 series, made in China. And the power draw is 0.35 amps. It's missing the circulation control knob, but the speed dial is there. Press and turn. Press and turn. Depress and it's a depress and turn. 3-speed. That's the child-proof switch. This is a 12-inch model. There were 16-inch versions that kind of looked like it. I have one of them out here. There's an example of the 16-inch style of that blade set. And then there was also one of the larger turbo models that used a similar blade set as well. I have one of those, but it needs some work, and the motor is non-serviceable, so it's going to be a thrill to get that thing going again. Anyways, this is a childhood fan. I remember seeing these in elementary school. There was 2 of them in the music classroom. And there was, the way the room was laid out, there was a lot of windows, a big row of windows on one wall, and there was kind of like the windows were outdented, I guess if you will, a couple of feet, and there was a shelf in front of the windows, and these 2 fans were on the shelves, and it was kind of useless because they were well above even eye level, and so you couldn't feel the air moving. But that's how they used them. They were always on oscillations, probably high, but they just didn't do a daggone thing to keep us more comfortable in that classroom. This is one of the pieces I found locally. I picked this up at a local estate sale not that far from here, just a couple miles down on the road. It's a really cool house too. I wish I could have bought that house, but didn't sell at quite the right time. Anyways, let's go ahead and turn this thing on. We'll start with no oscillations, and the kilowatt meter is down there. The volts right now is 121.2, a little bit on the higher side, and we're looking out for 0.35 amps according to the informations tag. I don't know why I just stopped the camera recording. And I have to edit the video. Let's on it, and we'll start with low. The power draw is 0.22 amps, 27 watts, and a power factor of 1 right on the nose. It's a very fast and very loud fan, and it has a very distinct sound to it. It has the same kind of distinct sound that the round bladed, like the ones that look like this, the round bladed 12-inch translucent oscillator fans sounded like, which is odd because they're completely different blade designs that operate on almost opposite theorems of aerodynamics. Now, I believe these were marketed as being like high performance, and I just don't see that. It's powerful, it's moving a lot of air, but I don't think that it moves any more air than a regular looking circulation fan would have at the time. It's moving a very satisfactory amount of air, but it's not impressive, and it's very loud while doing so. Actually, you know what? It just occurred to me. It'd be kind of interesting to put like one of these blades on there, for example, and just see how the performance compares, because I think that this blade set doesn't really put an adequate load on the motor, or it doesn't put as much load as the motor could handle, because there's not a lot of variance in the speeds. They should have put a little bit more pitch onto the blades. Okay, let's go to the medium. And there was an increase in speed. It's not like some of the fans of today where there's virtually no difference, but it just wasn't very much. That's up to 0.25 amps, 29 watts, and a power factor of 0.98, or 98/100ths. And it is moving good air, but it's just not like exceptional. I think the airflow is like an average. I mean, fans weren't that bad in 2002 yet, so you still got plenty of decent 12-inch oscillator fans at the time. And I just don't think that this one is really a standout in terms of performance like they advertised it to be. The air does seem to travel pretty good. You know, all the way back here, it's still, you know, quite strong. It does get stronger as you go closer, but the air does seem to carry pretty well. Okay, let's go to the high. That's the low. Let's try again. Not much difference there. And you'll notice too, it gets up to, watch how quickly it gets up to speed. So I do think that the motor is a bit underloaded. It's pulling 0.3 amps, rated for 0.35, so it's not far off of what it's claimed to draw. The watts is 35 and the power factor is 0.94. What I like about this fan is the way it moves the air is very constant. I'm standing 2 or 3 feet back from it, or a meter back from it, and the air is not gusty. It's very steady and constant, which I kind of like, but it's very loud. It's definitely moving a good breeze for sure. Okay, now put the oscillation on, which they're a little bit difficult to control without the knob, but it can still be done. This is not centered apparently. The oscillation is a little bit jerky. Maybe it needs to be lubricated. The medium. Low. Couldn't get it right the whole stinking video. It's really a noisy fan, and I just don't like to use noisy fans. Alright, let's go ahead and cut it off. Stop the oscillations. I haven't run this in a while, so the spin down may not be that great. Although it's also a very lightweight blade, so we need to take that into consideration. Okay, that is all for this Honeywell oscillations pedestal fan.